you ever failed? I mean, have you ever fallen flat on your face? No? Then you've never tried anything.
I failed 18 times just trying to pronounce Pablo Fonseca. Did I say that right? Fonseca? Anyway.
This is the Big Fail Podcast. It's about business, but we focus on failure. We interview successful business leaders, and we talk to them about how they overcame, what they learned, and how it paved the way to their success. You have to embrace failure to take risks. The Big Fail, sponsored by 1-800-BIZ-BROKER. Here's your host, Pablo Fonseca.
I got it right that time.
Yes, this is Pablo Fonseca recording live the Big Fail from this basement in downtown Riverside. I'm very happy to introduce today that I have a special guest, one of the rising leaders, one of the rising stars here in Riverside, Miss Carmen Lianez. How are you today, Carmen?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Carmen, I had you on here for lots of reasons. One of them obviously being that you have done a lot in this community, helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and also the chamber that you're involved with. But I want to start with talking a little bit more about you, and I want you to tell our listeners today a little bit about your background and where you grew up. Because I've known you for a long time, but a lot of people may not know this about you, that you immigrated from Nicaragua, right?
Yes. So I came here when I was 5 years old. Originally, I lived in San Francisco for a few years. Then I moved to Los Angeles.
Wait, San Francisco, is that why you're a big 49ers fan?
Yes.
I have to bring that up.
Thanks for reminding me.
No, they did good. They failed. They're a big fail for the Super Bowl, but they probably learned a lot. And next year they're going to be, improved, right?
I hope so.
I'm a 49er fan too. My dad is a big 49er fan, so.
We did get to the third quarter.
And did you? I don't even think it was expected for them to get to the Super Bowl this last year because they had a lot of changes, right?
No, actually, we had a pretty decent team, good record, and a strong defense. Had a lot of good pickups.
I was trying to pretend like I knew what I was talking about a little bit, but I guess I don't know about football. Let's get back to you. So you immigrated to the United States when you were 5?
Yes.
In San Francisco, and go take it from there.
So then I grew up in Downey. That's in Los Angeles. I went through elementary, middle school, high school. I went to Warren High. From there, I went to UC San Diego for college.
How'd you like UC San Diego?
I loved it. So just for the record, I didn't go to the party school. I went to the nerdy school. Everybody's like, San Diego.
Well, tell me, why did you go to UC San Diego? Because I know lots of kids, they might not have the motivation of the parents or the mentorship. You obviously went to a great university. Tell me about how you got there from Downey to UC San Diego.
I knew that I wanted to go to a UC. My first choice would have been UCLA. I did not get into UCLA. I got into UC Berkeley and UC San Diego. Okay. Berkeley was a little too far for me, and San Diego seemed perfect. Very close with my family, so that allowed me to come back on the weekends to Los Angeles. The campus was great, and their political science program is amazing.
And then after that, you went straight to law school?
Yes. So I graduated in 2006, and then I went to Southwestern Law School and graduated in 2009.
And tell me, when you graduated law school, what was your view for the future? What were you planning to do?
So I've known I wanted to be an attorney probably since I was 7 years old. So pretty
Tell me
young.
why. Tell me why.
My godfather was a huge influence. So when I came here and lived in San Francisco, I lived with my godparents. My godfather actually was the one who showed me how to love sports, showed me to speak English actually within 6 months.
Oh, wow.
One of the first books he gave me was John Grisham, a John Grisham book, and that became one of my favorite authors. Then moving to LA, my mom had a lot of friends that were immigrants as well, and I knew that I wanted to help people, and I wanted to help our community, and doing immigration law was my passion and is still my passion today.
No, I know you have one of the things I like about you is that you have a really big heart.
Thank you.
And I think people take advantage of that sometimes. I think I've had done that to you by getting some free legal advice. And I'm sure.
No.
I'm sure people do that all the time, But no, I think it's great. Immigrants need lots of help right now, especially with the climate and the new immigration laws that are evolving. And I'm sure that you might have lots of work for that right now. Do you have lots of? Tell me a little bit more about, like, maybe pick a case that stands out to you, that maybe the person, you got them through the process and now they're doing great.
So right now, actually, with the current climate, it's really hard to pick a great story, just because the immigration laws keep changing. So you may sit down with a client and say they potentially will qualify for a certain application. In a month or so, the administration decides to change the immigration laws and they no longer qualify. So right now is a time where people are really scared. I definitely feel that there's less options for a lot of immigrants here in the United States because of the changes in the law.
You say even if you want to do it legally?
Yes, because there's a lot of ways that they are not allowing you to apply lawfully because you don't qualify for X amount of reasons, where before you would have been able to qualify. Look at the DACA students right now, they're just kind of like at a standstill. So they don't know what's going to happen. If the DACA program is not continued, then what do? You're in the system. Unless you marry a U.S. citizen, for example, you're just going to go out of status and there you're in limbo.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That's too bad. I didn't want to turn this whole thing about an immigration debate. Obviously, this is more about business. So tell me a little bit about your, you work for you're the corporate counsel for one of the group of people that are one of the most entrepreneurial and active in the community in Riverside. Can you talk a little bit more about that part of your business background?
Of course. So obviously, immigration is still my love, and I was given the opportunity by the McGuire brothers to be their corporate counsel back in 2012. When I came on board, it was to come on board for their bail company, second biggest bail company in California, actually largest Latino-owned in the nation.
Right.
And from there, the owners, the executives, have expanded to so much more than that. They are restaurant owners. They're opening up a new nightclub. They've gotten into different fields, and with different fields, they've also gotten involved in the community and giving back to the community. It's a great organization. It's allowed me professionally to grow. Corporate law is not something that I thought I would be doing, nor that I thought I would like.
Right.
But when you work for the right people, they're not just brothers. They're a family. They treat their employees as a family, and working in an environment like that is amazing, and seeing their growth is amazing as well.
I'm sure you've seen lots of challenges with entrepreneurs as well. I know I used to tend to try lots of different things, and you don't always succeed. Can we talk about maybe some of the things that come to your mind when, as you're growing up and becoming an attorney, that you didn't succeed at, that kind of maybe made you fall down flat on your face and made you have to regroup and figure it out?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that comes to my mind is, obviously, you go to college, you go to law school, but after you graduate law school, you can't practice law until you pass the bar, right?
Right.
So I took the bar the first time, and I did not pass. That was probably one of the worst days of my life. I felt like everything shattered. My dreams were shattered. At that moment, when you see the results online and you're like, I didn't pass, I'm not going to be able to be an attorney. In that second, you're not positive. You're not thinking, okay, I'll take it again and I'll do it. In that second, you're like, I've dedicated my entire life to become an attorney.
Right.
So I have a Juris Doctorate, but I can't practice law. What am I going to do next? And in that moment, it felt just horrible. Luckily, I have an amazing support system. I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends that gave me the strength that I needed, and the advice and the motivation I needed to say, you know what, I didn't pass it this time. I'm going to do it again. And I took it the second time, and I passed.
That's awesome. And what did you do the second time to pass? Did you study twice as hard? You were more dedicated? You tell me what obviously something something kind of shook you and said, hey, I better get this done. What am I going to do? So what helped you get through that? Or what kind of preparation?
So the preparation was a little different in that sense. For the first time, I think I balanced having kind of a social life and so forth. The second time around, I actually went to Nicaragua. I spent 3 months in Nicaragua just studying. I took my bar course over Skype. I focused. I literally told everybody, I love you.
Bye-bye.
Don't think that I stopped loving you, but I need to focus. Like these 3 months, I just need to dedicate myself to this. My grandparents, I was lucky enough, I have amazing grandparents that told me, stay here in Nicaragua, focus. You need to just clear your mind, and you'll get this done.
And you did.
Yes. Thankfully, I did.
There's a lot of people out there that have dreams to become an attorney. They want to, or maybe even just go to college. What kind of advice would you give to a person that maybe not have the resources or the support system out there? Maybe they're a single parent. What kind of advice would you share with someone like that wants to get over that hump and realize their dreams?
My biggest advice is to get out there and network. Go to different events. As the chair of the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I think one of the things that we try to do is outreach to students, outreach to entrepreneurs, small businesses. And the thing is, you never know who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet, or who has certain connections. Even the school resources, asking your counselors, talking to other students and seeing what their resources are, what their motivations are. I think that's extremely important. And in finding a mentor and finding some guidance, I think that's something that I would recommend doing.
Absolutely. I think the key points you're making are that you can't do it alone. There are people out there, even if you're by yourself, that can help you. And they're out there if you just seek it. I think if you really want something, you find a way to get it, right? Definitely. Now, you mentioned something I want to talk about as well. You are the chairwoman is it chairwoman or chairperson? What do you prefer? What's the term now?
I think chair.
The chair. You're the chair for the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is one of the largest Hispanic chambers in the state, country. Tell me, but tell me also. I mean, you're in charge of this organization. How did you get to that point? I mean, when I think of a chair, when I think of a Chamber of Commerce, I think of some, no offense, some older guys organization that get together and, and talk about business, golf. Doesn't seem to jive with what I'm seeing right here in front of me.
I think it's always breaking the barriers.
Right.
Just as corporate attorneys, you probably think of like older gentlemen and so forth. Same thing with chairs. You think of older, you think of men. And I think in the era that we are today, we are breaking all types of barriers as women, as Latinas. And where I am today is partially because of my involvement with the McGuires. So I've never been part of a Chamber of Commerce before. I joined as a result of mingling with other owners and being able to connect with the city, with the county.
They kind of pushed you in there.
Yes. And, in no time I saw myself on the board. I saw that there was so much dedication amongst the past chairs, the board members. It wasn't just about being a business owner and promoting your own business. It was, let's look at small businesses, mid-sized businesses in the, Inland Empire and see what do they need? Do they need business training? Latino community, do we need business training in Spanish? Scholarship programs, what can we do for our students that are looking, that may not have the resources? And it showed me that there's so much more to a Chamber of Commerce. It's not just sitting around and discussing business or how to promote your own business. It's how can we as a group help our community in general.
I think it's a concept of, by lifting all the ships, that all tide rise, or how does that go? The tide rises all ships. one of those sayings, right? But the premise is, you want to help your community out, and by helping people out, it comes back to you, I think. And I'm a big believer in that. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast. I want to put some positive content out there because there's so little of it, I think. And I think we want to put something out there that we can inspire people, or at least help people to realize that they can take risks, and it's okay to fail, because without taking risks, you're not going to get anywhere. And sometimes, they don't always work, but you got to overcome those risks and barriers to get to your ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I think that you said something earlier too, where we may not want to talk a lot about our failures because it's embarrassing, or because that's not something that we want to put out there. But I think speaking to our failures and how we overcame them gives other people to be motivated as well. Because
Absolutely.
It's okay to fail. It's not failing that's bad. It's how can you pick yourself up from that failure and continue with your dreams and continue seeking whatever it is that you want to seek.
Absolutely. And I think as long as you learn something from it and you don't repeat it and you can adjust course, that's not really a failure, because then you turn it into something positive, something you can tweak in your approach and get over that hump. Carmen, tell me what nowadays what makes you passionate? What gets you what makes you get out of bed tonight and get tomorrow morning and become the best chairperson you can be, the best attorney you can be? What motivates you?
People motivate me. My community motivates me. I truly believe that if my community succeeds, then I'm succeeding alongside. Succeeding whether it's helping someone with a pro bono case and doing an immigration case, helping someone with mentorship, helping someone with some advice, helping them connect with another business owner or someone else. That's what makes me get up in the mornings, because I truly want to be someone that helps my community and helps my community grow.
Well, Carmen, I'm glad that we have people like you in our community, because it's really important that we all try to help each other to succeed, because we can't do it all alone. No matter what no matter what people say, you do need a support system around you and things to do. Is there anything you want to promote out here? Or actually, first of all, can you tell me one of the things that maybe that you read, or a podcast you listen to, or something that you've listened to lately that you want to share with our listeners? Or a book?
I'm actually part of a book club, so it's funny. The last one that or the one that we're currently reading, it's The Immortalist, and it talks about choices. Is your destiny already planned, or
Right.
do you have choices? And those choices, how does that affect your future? It's a really good book. It's a fiction, but it really speaks to having your own destiny and creating your own destiny.
I like that. Carmen, is there anything that you want to promote, or a website you want people to go to, or to learn more about the chamber? How many members do you guys have right now?
Active members, we have about close to 300.
Okay.
So that's businesses and individuals. We have more as part of the chamber that comes to the events and partnerships and so forth. If anything, I would direct everybody to the grhcc.com website, because we encourage people to join. We encourage people to attend our events. Like I was saying, we have a 10-week business program. It's 10 weeks, 1 day a week. After 10 weeks, you get your certificate of completion. It's for entrepreneurs, for small businesses. Kind of gives you the A to the Z's. And we also have that same program. It's 8 weeks, and it's called Emprendedores. And Emprendedores is actually all in Spanish. So it's for Latino businesses that feel more comfortable experiencing that training program in Spanish. So there's tons of resources. I would encourage anybody that wants any guidance, that needs any help or needs any connections, to reach out to me directly.
Okay. So this is for people that want to start a business, or people that are in business already?
Both.
For both. Okay. So obviously, I would recommend as well that if you want to start a new business or in business, to join Chamber and get some of that support, because you get to be part of a community that's bigger than yourself, and I think it really does help.
I do want to add, though, just because it's the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, it doesn't mean that you have to be Hispanic, Latino in order to be part of our chamber. It's not exclusive, it's inclusive of everyone.
Thank you. I absolutely glad you mentioned that, because I went to the one of the last dinners, and you're absolutely right. It was it looked like just very, very diverse, and I really enjoyed it. We had a good time there. Carmen, I want to thank you for being on our show today. I really appreciate you coming down and taking. You're really busy, and I know, and you took some time to come out. I really appreciate that. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you wish I asked you today?
No, it was a pleasure being on here, and I wish you the best of luck with your podcast.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for listening today to the Big Fail podcast. Hope it was informative to you. I'd like to thank our sponsor, RiversidePodcast.com, and our producer Steve behind the camera over there. And hopefully you come and listen to us next time. Also, you can join our list on the BigFail.biz, or just join our Facebook page so you can become aware of our next podcast. And soon we'll be on Spotify. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to you next time.
You've been listening to The Big Fail. Failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is delay, not defeat. It's a temporary detour, not a dead end. We hope you've gained some killer insight from this podcast. Until next time, reach out on Facebook at Big Fail Podcast and visit our website at www.bigfail.biz. Never let success get to your head. Never let failure get to your heart. This is The Big Fail, signing off.